Okay, Father Miller here. Welcome back to the Nerd Father Friday afternoon stretch. Roman of the Empire, you're new.
I am. Greetings, Father Miller.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Hello.
BJ.
So,
Hi, love your background.
love it too.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yours as well. I've been admiring it for weeks.
Thank you.
So this is the last one for a little bit because this time next week I will be in Dallas at Gary's meetup,
You'll
and
say
I'm
hi
excited
to everybody.
I will, but I'm excited because I'll get to meet Ian this week, the Mega Geek. He's coming to
Yes.
Dallas.
Tell
Wow.
him to get out all the t-shirts and post it to us guys in the UK.
So how are you two?
I'm good, very, very good.
Doing well. It's hot,
Good.
but doing well.
Very
the
hot.
hat.
I'm actually.
Yeah, I'm broadcasting from Southern California. My studio is also my garage, so it's a quality 90 degrees in here. It's fine. If you see me fall over, please call an ambulance.
So how do you have a Yankees hat?
Oh, I'm from the East Coast.
Okay.
Many years ago when I was a wee lad. Yeah, I joined the Navy, served for 30 years, all in California, and we just stayed here when I retired.
Oh, good. I have in my office, I have a autographed Joe Torre picture.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
very cool.
I sent him a self-addressed stamped envelope with an 8x10 of his. And like 6-7 months later, I received a signed photo.
That's awesome.
Yeah, nice.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
I'm
good
just
Yankees
not used to
memorabilia.
actually nerds with
So-
like sports. So
So PJ, he was the manager. He was the manager of the Yankees during the glory years of the 90s.
Yes, yeah, the golden age. Although the Yankees
Yeah.
tend to have several golden ages, and then
Yes.
they semi-disappear for a little bit, and then they spend an awful lot of money, and then they have another golden age.
Well, currently they're in the 70s again.
yeah, I've never been a big football or anything fan of sports, even when I was a kid. I played them when I was in school. I was asked to join the football team, and I said, "Nope, I'm not giving my Saturday morning cartoons up for anybody." Nope. So even then, I was my cartoons and stuff like that were more important than sports. I've never
fair
grown
enough,
up.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I've grown old. I've never grown up.
haven't we all?
Well,
So let's see. Did you guys watch the Orville yet?
yes, we did a
I have
review
not.
of season 1 and
Oh.
2.
I
on
know,
Wednesday.
I know.
And I watched it and I quite enjoyed it. It's definitely it isn't the greatest sci-fi out there, but it is still fun to watch.
Well, I mean,
Well,
as I
I
was
mean,
reading,
a
it
big part
started
of
out
it-
as a parody, but it really
Yeah.
has grown into its own.
Yes, it definitely is, because before the season 3 started, I rewatched seasons 1 and 2. There's a couple of bits and pieces I'm not as keen on in it, but right across, I think it's an enjoyable program to watch. which
Unlike
is-
modern Star Trek, which started off as serious and ended up as a parody. But
Yeah, it did, it certainly did. Modern Star Trek's that bad that I don't even watch reviews of it. I don't-
I don't really care. I mean,
exactly, it's
like
the same
the-
idea.
what
I
I've been
don't
saying on
care enough.
Twitter,
I don't
It's
care
just
enough to
there's
even
so
watch a
much
review how bad it
saturation.
is. Yeah, but I'll rewatch the Orville numerous times.
What was it? I have I was just looking at that. I have
Oh, very good.
that's cool. They do comics.
Yeah, they
I
did.
did not know that.
and that was basically until the new ones came out. So
Mhm.
but I gotta say it's painful watching Norm in his last
Yes, unfortunately,
episodes.
that's unfortunate. But at least they acknowledged it and they basically dedicated
yeah.
the first episode to him. That was really nice. But yeah, it's just unfortunate. But I suppose it's right across the board because he passed away before it was broadcast. I think if it had passed away after it had been broadcast and you're rewatching it, it'd be different. But it's just unfortunate. But one of my favourite characters, Yafid. So
Or at least they're able to acknowledge it, which is
Yes.
Yeah.
good.
yeah.
At
It's
least
like
he got
in
his whole
Top
season
Gun.
filmed.
the treatment that they gave to Val Kilmer, and I don't know if anybody else has seen it but me, but the treatment they gave to Val Kilmer, given his serious cancer issues, was so well done. They couldn't have done that. If they tried to do it differently, it could have gone off goofy. If they'd left him out, that would have been very disrespectful. So I thought they did just a really nice job walking that through.
And last week I watched, and shout out to Snortopupus, but I rewatched the original last weekend, and I still stand by my comment that this one is better than the original.
Oh, I
You're
agree
not the only one
100%.
that said that. You're not the only one that said that. I was never a fan of the original, and I don't like Tom Cruise, so I've not watched it.
See, I didn't like the original either, and we actually watched that the other night. My son, he's 22, so he's a very young man comparatively. He still enjoys that. Now, my wife and I talked about this, and what we think they did is they watched the original film, but then they picked all the bits out of it that were hokey or goofy. Most of the love scenes, a lot of the cheesy 80s music. Move that aside, make better, room for better plot devices, more orchestrated music, although they still had, some of the rock stuff in there, which is fine. But you're not sitting there going, cringe,
Well,
when those scenes come up. And you get all that in the original.
Yeah, I fast forwarded during the volleyball scene. I fast forward during the love scene.
Whereas I would just prefer to watch Hot Shots.
I mean, and you had the. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I was going to say is even though I prefer the parody of it, Hot Shots, I'm aware of it and I have watched it, but I watched it so long ago.
Okay, so have either of you seen Top Secret?
That I've seen so long ago. The cow, Val Kilmer and a cow, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
not in a negative context, but that's what I remember about the
right.
Had to be a better way to say
I still love that bit when they're walking. Oh, hold on a minute. With a calf. It was just they had the cow with the Wellingtons on. It was just funny to watch.
Well,
and Peter Cushing doing everything in reverse with his big eye.
I mean, that's not dissimilar to Monty Python's style humor. Mm-hmm. A little more of the slapsticky in there, but still that where that humor was based in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that was doing a parody properly, where they actually took all the good parts and played it seriously, but it was so silly it was fun. I mean, how anybody else would have put a cow in Wellington boots and made it funny, whereas all they did was they put it in the boots and just had it walking across a field. But because they set it up with the two of them in the outfit, it just sort of worked with that. It took the ridiculous and made it sublime.
I remember the Pinto
can go badly quickly.
What was it? The tank touching the Pinto, just a little ting, then explodes.
But even the bit where they did everything in reverse with Peter Cushing, and that was just so well done. The bit with the books, throwing the books up, and how long it took them just to film that part where the books falling out and him catching them, just to make it look right.
So the other thing too,
I don't even know about quality humor in modern filmmaking now. I have a very hard time finding comedies that I'm like, oh, that was funny. It wasn't cringe, but you were genuinely sitting there laughing at the movie instead of going, huh, that was funny.
Nah. Yeah, or else it's fart humor or things like that. It's we're all 2-year-old again.
Humor.
Yeah. It's almost like we're kids again, and we're laughing at fart jokes, and that's what they expect us to laugh at. It'd be like watching Idiocracy, and the movie it's on the screen, which was called, was it Fart? That was the movie in Idiocracy, which was the most popular movie in the world. It was just butt cheeks just farting.
And that sums up comedy today.
Yes, and the thing is, I think Idiocracy's coming true now.
That's
a lot of exactly where they want people to go to that be that dumb that they'll just accept anything. And unfortunately, you look at the TV,
I gotta
Picard.
admit, as
Star Trek.
10-Ton Battle just brought up the new Beavis and Butthead movie, it actually looks good. I will admit I watched it in college.
Yeah, we saw the
I've-
we did a bit last night on my stream, and as much as I wanted to hate it, I didn't. And it took me back to 1993, and I'm like, you know what? This could actually be funny because there's no way for Beavis and Butthead to be woke. That is an impossibility. You can't
I know,
do that.
and even the bits throughout it, even the silly, just to laugh, just brings a smile.
Yeah,
And
but you
yes,
know,
you
it
can't
would be
imagine
fun
them
to
being-
see. It'd be fun to see them come up against a woke person and just get smacked and everything.
Oh, it'd be.
I mean, because it's like,
what's wrong
what
with
was
you?
it? Beavis would
Oh.
say, "Hey, baby," or something.
What are you calling me? Are you misgendering me?
That's
Yeah, I
right,
can't
yeah.
imagine anything like that. Because as soon as if they even tried to, then it's the same again. They are taking a character and completely changing it, and then it suddenly all you're doing is using the name, and that's
Right.
what they're
Well-
doing across the board. So them actually using our current franchises and actually putting it out there as if this is just as good as what it used to be. No, the characters are completely different. All you're doing is using names.
Mhm.
You might as well call them all Bob.
Okay, so I don't know if you see the title on this one.
I can see the title yet.
Here we go. This won't get copyright.
Great news for women's rights groups this morning as the Supreme Court moved to shatter glass ceilings nationwide. With us, we have Jessica, an online blogger who started the campaign. So, Jessica, tell us a little more about
It's about women taking a stand. People need to realize the glass ceilings are not okay. Women are here. We are equal, and we will not put up with oppression. One moment, Jane. BRB. Down with the patriarchy!
Jessica, wait. What do you say to the animal rights activists who claim you are to blame for the wanton massacre of marine life in aquariums around the country?
Well, first word is out of patriarchy, Jane. Down with the matriarchy. Men's rights activists. We want our foreskins back.
Oh, but wait till you hear the end of this one. Here we go.
Think about subscribing, you cisgender, white male, transphobic, queer-bashing, heteronormative, conservative, bigoted, xenophobic, honky-ass, 49% majority, mansplaining, man-spreading, common landing, lube shirt, wearing shitlord!
Man, I feel persecuted after watching that.
I don't know where to look. I don't know where to look. I think they were talking about me.
That was horrifying and wonderful.
Oh yeah.
And see,
So
to me, that's the perfect humor because you look at some of the older TV shows. They had the strong feminist, and the thing is, even though they actually had them, it was very women's rights. They didn't make them crazy. They made them understandable. Whereas now they're all crazy.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, is the difference because even though you had someone, I'm watching Numbers again,
Okay.
rewatching it, Numbers, and there's the occasional episode you're sitting there thinking, nope, that could not be made today. And
I'm
it's
watching
because they've
Shell
got
Show.
strong characters in it, and the strong characters they're portrayed in a way that it doesn't matter if they're female or they're male or what color they are, whatever. The characters are really good, and you can understand why they're at the position. Even the villains, you can understand why they're committing the crimes, and you're glad when they get caught. But it's
Now,
the fact is
Numbers-
nowadays you wouldn't have that guy doing that. You wouldn't have that woman doing that because it would be seen as incorrect now. Whereas those characters, even though they were the villains of the piece, they were.
Isn't-
You could understand why they went down that route, and that's, I think, is the way they miss now. It's a case of you're bad because of the color of your skin. No, that's not a
Isn't-
reason.
Isn't Numbers the one with the guy that was in Adam's Family Values? Or if you
It was
remember
the-
the summer camp? Let me see if I can. Hold on, let me see if I
It
can bring
is
that up.
the math genius and the guy who played in
Yeah, I think that's let's see.
there it's there. It's
Okay, here we go. Let me bring this up.
The Chippewas to join us for this holiday meal. Remember, these savages are our guests. We must not be surprised at any of their strange customs. After all, they have not had our advantages, such as fine schools, libraries.
Hard to
full
believe,
of
but this
books,
was almost 30 years ago.
I
shampoo.
know.
Gosh.
Here we go.
How? I am Pocahontas, a Chippewa.
Him.
I think it is it is him.
I believe it is. Let me see if I can bring up the cast.
I'm just actually looking because it was Numbers was executive producer was what you call him, Ridley Scott.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it is him.
Golly.
Yeah, that's him. He played the main cast. Played the main character of
Yep,
the one.
he
with
was in
Genius.
Adam's Family Values.
Yeah, but the one that played the father was the one that played was it Alex Rieger in Taxi.
Oh yeah. He was also
Oh.
in Dear John.
Uh-huh.
Judd
Judd,
Hirsch.
Judd
Hirsch.
Hirsch.
Yeah, so he
From
plays the
Taxi,
father
yes.
in it, and it's really good. I quite like it. And the one that played Renfield in Dead and Loving It is in it as well. He plays Larry.
See, the one that I tried getting into was one that came out a few years ago called Scorpion, about the computer hacker.
I've not even heard of that one.
Mm-mm,
Let's
I don't
see if
remember
can
that one
bring Hold on. Okay, let's bring that up.
No, I've definitely not even heard about that one.
Okay. Well, let's do the little. Okay, here we go.
My name is Walter O'Brien. I have the fourth highest IQ ever recorded, 197. Einstein's was 160. When I was 11, the FBI arrested me for hacking NASA to get their blueprints for my bedroom wall. Now, I run a team of geniuses tackling worldwide threats only we can solve. Toby's our behaviorist. Sylvester's a human calculator. Happy, a mechanical prodigy. Agent Kate Gallows, our government handler. And Paige, well, Paige isn't like us. She's normal and translates the world for
Actually, I
us
think
while
I
we
have
help
seen
her
that.
understand her genius son. Together,
It wasn't on for
we are
long, but
Scorpion.
one season.
Yeah, it came out a few years ago,
I think I have seen it. There's something about it. It just
2014, 2018.
so it was more than a season.
Yeah,
I
four
think I might
seasons.
have actually seen the pilot for it and not seen anything else.
I think I saw the pilot as well. It was I forgot Robert from the Terminator and so many other things. The old
Yes,
Robert.
Oh, yeah,
his last
yeah,
name is
yeah.
escaping me. Who played Terminator 2 was also played Johnny Cash's father in
Yeah.
Walk the Line, and was last on. Oh dear heavens! From
Oh.
Suicide Squad. The guy with the shiny helmet. Heavens, my brain.
that's a different story. The guy with a shiny helmet. That's a different movie.
No, I've lost the name of the character. Peacemaker. I'm
Oh,
sorry,
the one,
golly.
the one at that nutcase who had to apologise to everybody in China.
John
Played
Cena.
Peacemaker in the new one.
Yes. Before
Yeah.
the show aired, he had to apologize to everyone in China because he acknowledged Taiwan was a country, which it is.
Yeah. But yes,
Robert Patrick. I'm sorry. God.
Robert
Oh yeah,
Patrick.
yeah.
Sorry,
that's
sorry.
right. Robert Patrick.
Yeah.
Have either
And-
of you been keeping up with The Boys on Amazon?
I
I
watched,
watched the first couple of episodes and stopped watching it. I like my superheroes to be light. I don't like them to be dark. So
Well, I mean, I watched the first part of the first episode of season 3, but they had full frontal nudity.
That was That was not
And
good. That was very extreme.
Pretty much turned it off.
Even
after
for that show, that was extreme. What I've liked about I actually enjoy the show overall. I like that they're taking and yes, it is a dark look at superheroes. And I think, but it does have a humorous edge to it. And I honestly think this is more what you would get. They're run by a corporation. They have to have handlers, ultimate power, as they say. But what I liked about this season that I didn't like about last season. Last season they threw in some woke stuff with Stormfront and the N-word from Germany that you get banned for on YouTube. This season they have a more balanced look at this because they made fun of woke stuff in, I think it was episode 1 when they went to Votland and they had Inclusivity Land, and it's all rainbows and fun. And Frenchie just walks in. He's like, "There is no God here," and he wasn't wrong. And then, of course, they have to have the juxtaposition of the other side. I forget what they're calling the Stormfront followers, the Stormfronters, something silly, where they have the tiki torches and all the things that the media thinks that the far right is, and it's just absurd. But they are poking fun at both sides, so at least they're doing that. I kind of say I can take the poke to the right as long as they're making the poke to the left as well.
Mm-hmm.
Have a balanced act with your humor. That's the way Saturday Night Live used to be. They used to make fun of everybody, and now they don't.
Yeah, it's the same as in the UK. You used to have a lot of political stuff where they would just take the mickey out of politicians in general. Didn't matter what side they were on. You used to have, what was the puppet one?
Spitting Images.
Spitting Image. They used to do Spitting Image where you could see everyone from Margaret Thatcher to right down to the Labour and Neil Kinnock. They used to just take their most extreme and just take the mickey out of both the sides. And that was fun because we grew up watching it and not taking any politician seriously. But now you're meant to actually believe one side and not the other. And that to me is just nuts. If there's a politician, you can always tell when a politician's lying. His mouth is moving.
Yeah,
that's the
reality in the chat. Sorry. That's okay.
That's what I'm saying. See, even nowadays, I remember like with my dad's generation, when they would talk about going to vote, they would be going to vote for someone they liked. Nowadays, you're going to vote for someone you'll detest the least.
Yeah, and that's a bad way of doing business.
And that is a bad way of doing it. So if you, like me, I do the same. I grew up and I was an SNP voter right up until the current person who's in charge is in, and I cannot abide her. So I'll do anything to get SNP out because I think they're destroying the country. So I'm not voting for anybody in particular. I'll look at who's second and I'll vote for them because there's no competition. And that's why the country's going downhill.
Over
so
here,
if I'm voting for the second person, doesn't matter what party they're in, just so my vote goes against that one. That's wrong. You should be voting for who's doing best for the country.
I'm just praying over here in this country we do not have a rematch of 2016 because I do not want either of them.
Now that's the
I'm not watching these Capitol hearings. I don't care about it. I mean, same media that threw a temper tantrum for the last 7 years are now upset that I don't want to watch it. It's like, sorry, I don't want to watch it.
They didn't mind when the cities were burning during the Summer of Love. They had no problem with that. That was cool. But the events that happened early in January of 2020, the only person that got killed was one of the protesters.
Yeah, but that's the difference, isn't it? Watching the country burn, it's fine, no problem, because the right side is burning it. But somebody smashed the window, and suddenly that's big news.
No, exactly. Really? Well, so I'm in California. I'm in the land of fruits and nuts, as I've been for a very long time. We just had our primary elections here. The state is a disaster by any measure. It's not like subjectively a disaster. It's objectively a disaster between the homeless, the crime, and every other thing that could possibly be going wrong in a country or in a state. I mean, gas right now, where I live, is $6.15 for regular grade gas. And I know it's more over in UK generally, but here it wasn't like that. 2 years ago, back when the Orange Man Bad was president, we were paying three and some change out here, which was still more than most of the country. But anyway, we had our primaries on Tuesday, and like 12% came out to vote in the primaries. 12%. So Dummy, who's in office here currently with the slicked back hair, and he's very lovely, and he's friends with Justin Trudeau, he got like 60% of the vote. And the other candidate, who I actually didn't vote for, I didn't vote for him either. I voted for an independent candidate because I thought he was the best guy for the job. But the GOP candidate, who didn't get any advertising, got like 12 or 17% of the vote. So in a state that's literally sinking into the sea, voters are apathetic. They just don't care. I don't know if they're just beaten down.
I find it funny that his ex-wife is now pretty much living with Trump Jr., I think it is.
That's funny and awkward. Of course, he's Nancy's nephew.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, there's so much
Nepotism.
I'm trying to use nice words. We'll call it integration between the hierarchy of families out here. That it's terrifying. The governor of Oregon is Jerry Brown's sister, Jerry Brown, the former governor of California. It's just it's a big circle of hell. Yet they keep voting for it or not voting at all. So I don't know.
Over here, they're very similar. It's a case of the First Minister's husband was the one that was supplying all the PPE, I think, to the country, or his company was something to do with all the PPE, and suddenly he's getting all the money, but accordingly, don't worry, it was fine because he won it fairly.
That's completely legit. What could possibly be seen as being wrong with that?
But it's nuts, and they wonder why all these companies that politicians sit on the board of are the ones winning the bids, and nobody's actually meant to say, really? Is that unusual? But we're all thick. So, and the thing is, you're getting people who say, oh, the country's going to heck, right, who are you voting for? Or the same people that are in. Really?
I tell you, as I mentioned on Twitter, it's like gas out here has gone up 20 cents over the last week. It was up 20 cents before that. Imagine what it's going to be like in November when the midterms come around.
I know.
Last week when I got petrol for my car, we're on litres at the moment. So I paid £1.70 per litre. So 4 litres, so you can get the calculations per. Accordingly, the same garage is now at £1.87, and that was less than a week. So it's gone up 15 pence. So we reckon by the end of this month, it will be £2 per litre easily. And the 50% of that goes to the government, and they're saying, no, it's not the government, it's actually driving the prices. Really? Because I saw something on Twitter, and it was they're talking about the reason the price is at £2 per litre is because it's at $97 per barrel. Yet when Trump was in, it was $109 per barrel, but we were paying at the pump £1.25 per litre. And we're saying, really? How's that? And it's all to do with the government taking more tax. So they're taking more, which means all the prices are going up. And they're saying, no, don't look there. That's not what it means. Do you know how bad it is? My electricity bill per month is going to be more expensive than my mortgage.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Wow.
The prices have doubled last year, and they're going to be doubling again this year.
Wow,
to the point where we're reckoning our bill's going to be more expensive to pay for our electricity per month than it will be to pay for my mortgage.
So I'm driving to Dallas because it's going to be cheaper than flying. And I mean, I think this is going to be the only trip I'll take this year.
For us to actually get the train, and the train's expensive.
Well, that's kind of the funny thing is on the bottom of the video I tweaked the little tip jar to include gas fund. But I'm looking forward to it. I mean, like I said,
Father Miller,
I'm sorry.
Are you going to try to make Vegas as well?
No, I can't because I'll be teaching this fall.
I got it. That's right. Yes. Back in the classroom.
So I can't make Vegas, but and honestly, Vegas was a little expensive for me. I mean,
See, I'm closer to
food-
Vegas, so I'm gonna be able to make the Vegas.
Oh
one
yeah,
next
that's
year.
understandable.
Dallas is a ways out there.
I will say the thing that I'm looking
It's a
forward
wee
to
bit
Dallas
further for me.
is I don't think it's going to be as crowded as Vegas will be,
Agreed.
and that I'm looking forward to. But I mean, I enjoyed Vegas because I mean it was really neat being able to meet people that you've talked to on these streams, the
Right.
Friday night crew and everything. It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, I'm wanting them to do one over here with the Critical Drinker and Az, so we can
Oh.
all go down and see them.
That would be
Because the
Because
Critical
beautiful.
Drinker's up north of me and Az is away down south, so somewhere in the middle would be somewhere I can drive to.
I did get a retweet from the Critical Drinker because as I put on Twitter yesterday, I'm tired of Marvel and Star Wars. There's too much.
How could you be tired
Stuff.
of those, Father Miller? That's absurd.
I've not seen Kenobi. I don't want to. I
Oh,
watched the
I-
first episode. Of
I
Ms.
can
Marvel
give you a
and I hated
synopsis. It's horrible.
it. Yeah.
I can give you a synopsis. White man bad.
I just love these reviews of
Oh
Ms.
my
Marvel
God.
basically saying it's like a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes.
What?
It's like within the first minute, I'm tired of hearing about Captain Marvel this, Captain Marvel that.
I think it's right. I can't remember what one of the guys that had said it in Friday Night Tight says they don't understand heroes. Because
No, they've
you
lost
look
it.
at
They've
their
lost
big
the
hero they
understanding
were
of heroes.
pushing was this person who has powers where bullets will bounce off her. She's got extraordinary strength. And what did she do? A person made her feel upset, so she crushed his hand and stole his bike and his clothes. But we're meant to feel good for her because she's a superhero who does villainous things, and we're meant to be feel good for her. Captain Marvel is no hero, but that's how they portray as a hero.
But
Someone
she's
who
the
steal from
bestest,
someone.
PJ. She's the
Uh-huh.
bestest.
But it's the fact is they think we should actually be rooting for someone who's a thief and who is a
Deplorable.
bully, and that's meant to be who
Oh
we.
God! Oh, you're bringing up the whole lineup. Oh, Father
Yeah,
Miller.
it's like I
So
don't
you've got
want to see any
Female
of
Marvel,
these.
female Thor, female Hulk.
See, there are
Don't know
things
who
on
the-
here which I should be excited about, but I know I'm not because inside me, my Marvel soul is dead. They
See, the only
killed
one
it.
that I'm interested in is Deadpool.
Deadpool 3, yeah. Because the
And
first
I
two
hope
As
they
long
really
as they
don't. I
don't
mean,
destroy. There's so many things on here that are terrible. Ironheart, Riri Williams as a repackaged Iron Man.
and
Agatha. Who cares?
Okoye. I
No
have no
one
desire to
cares.
watch that.
No one is.
I've never even
Armor
heard of
War.
OK.
You're doing Armor
It's
Wars
the
with no
it's
Iron
the
Man.
bald woman that's the head of the Wakanda forces.
Oh, that I know who
You
it
mean
is.
you weren't
then.
waiting for that, PJ? I don't understand. That wasn't on
I
your list.
never watched Black Panther, so I've not watched any of them. I think the last one I watched was the one prior to Endgame, so I didn't watch the last three. I just stopped it.
But I mean, it's
Guardians
just,
of the Galaxy I had no interest in because I didn't know the characters and I had no interest in watching it. So, which is silly because I remember Tank Girl. I'd never heard of the character, but I watched Tank Girl and I loved it.
It
Where-
Actually,
so-
I enjoyed the Guardians films a lot. The only thing that I don't like about the Guardians films, and it isn't their fault, it's what Marvel decided to do afterwards. They decided all Marvel films needed to have the goofy humor that Guardians has. Thor Ragnarok is probably the worst
Yeah.
victim of that.
yeah,
and
but
I
of
think
course
that's why I wasn't as keen on Guardians because of the goofy humor.
But it worked in that, and for that, it was fine. But you can't have that bleed into the rest of Marvel, which is what they've
it's
done.
true.
I mean, with Thor looking into the eyes of Star Lord.
I know.
Even
So
even the
bad.
bit where
So bad.
even the bit where Groot was such a big thing, and all it says is "I am Groot." Yeah, that gets fed up after 2 minutes. And
Hey,
things
Vin
like that.
Diesel really worked hard on those lines,
Yes,
man.
and accordingly,
He-
he didn't just say the one word and just leave it, and then they just reused it. They didn't. He accordingly, for every time it says "I am Groot," he actually says it. Which, yes, considering they only had 3 words, and he actually did all the lines for it. Not a case of he did it once and then they just used his sort
is
of
a-
fitted it in.
he's an incredibly diverse actor. I don't know what you're talking about.
There we go.
But it is, the fact is, it was, why did they become a group become so popular? Considering I am Groot. You imagine any other character having this the catchphrase, but not only that, they didn't say anything else. They only said the catchphrase. People would have got fed up with it, but for some reason, Groot was so good that when they killed it off, they wanted to make a wee one.
Here we go.
And that's where he became even more endearing. I mean, I think there was something about the simplicity of it.
No, I
Uh-huh.
mean, ask nicely.
I suppose it would be that because it was new. It was something different. It was differently
Yes.
done.
I miss this Thor.
Good.
I mean, this was fun Thor, not
Yes.
goofy Thor.
No, he did. Yeah,
Or
there's
fat
a little bit. He had a little bit of humor, but it wasn't. And that's where we see here in a sec. But it wasn't goofy.
I'm trying to think. is
Stellan
Poppy-
Skarsgård. I love Stellan Skarsgård so much.
Oh, there it is. I'm sorry. It was right here.
Yes.
This drink, I like it.
I know, it's great, right?
Another.
I mean, I miss that type of stuff, but I mean, it's been ever since
That was
Ragnarok.
good. He's now the butt of every joke, though. He's a
Yeah.
butt of every joke in his own movies. And I can't believe, I can believe, but I can't believe they took literally the least popular comic line that Marvel had in 2014 and decided to make this movie. Like I said, from my logical brain can't get it. My illogical brain that screams, "Oh, the woke, that gets it completely because that's what this is. And they're shoving it down our throats and we can't do anything about it. And what do they give us in consolation? Ms. Marvel?
Yeah.
Oh, great. That's fantastic. The show that literally no one is talking about.
Mhm.
No one. I don't know
Uh,
anybody who's really seen it because they don't care. Because Disney Plus Marvel has just taken a dump on every character and then introduced other characters no one heard of. Moon Knight should have been a cool show. Moon Knight was not a cool show.
Never
And then they
watched
give us
it.
Ms. Marvel. And it's like, why? Why?
That's the part I don't understand, because Disney was, I suppose, deep down, was a girls' franchise, because you had Disney princesses, a lot of the stuff that we all loved from Disney, things like the Rescuers and stuff like that. They were made with a girl audience in mind. It wasn't the typical boy stuff that a lot of other companies did. And my three daughters grew up watching Disney. I watched it and I loved it. It's the same idea. Nowadays, they bought something in to bring the boys in, and then they changed it so the girls could like it. What was the point buying all the stuff?
They've
for the
forgotten
boys?
who the actual demographic are who watch superhero films. That's your 18, generally speaking, your 18 to 35-year-old male.
Mhm.
That's your audience. And if you're not bringing them in because you're making shows about girls who find bracelets in attics and suddenly get magic powers, then I don't know what you're doing. I don't know how Disney Plus is making any money off of any of this programming at all. Through the subs, but they're losing subs on Disney Plus like sinking.
The only reason I have Disney Plus right now is because American Express has an offer where they will pay you. They'll refund
That's
you
actually
the
not a
fee.
bad deal. See,
Well, that's
dummies
not
like
how
me,
Disney
I have a
Plus-
sub so I can make content. That's it. It's like, well, I shall endure these shows so others don't have to.
But I
Yeah.
will say I was pretty excited the Critical Drinker retweeted my tweet. But I mean, it's like, I'm just, the days where I would get excited about a new Star Wars, Star Trek, it's gone. I
Yeah.
can't
Oh,
get
you're 100%
excited
right.
anymore.
Even my
Well,
kids.
what about
my
new
three
Doctor
daughters
Who?
grew-
Yeah,
my
I mean-
daughters grew up watching their own sci-fi stuff that they like. My oldest was a big Harry Potter fan before people actually knew about Harry Potter. She used to read she had the first couple of books, and then when suddenly people are telling her how Harry Potter works because they saw the movies, she's sitting there going,
See, the only ones
And-
I'll get excited for is the Orville
uh-huh.
and What We Do in the Shadows, because I've enjoyed that one over the last 3 seasons.
What We Do in the Shadows. Is that the one about the vampires?
Yeah.
That was the
With
one
Matt Berry.
Wendology actually got me to watch. I had never seen it, and I loved it. It is.
Yeah, I've
so
only
much
seen the
fun.
film. I haven't seen the series.
Oh, the
Are
series.
you
I've got-
familiar? I know PJ knows him, but are you familiar with Matt Berry?
I am not.
Oh, you're in for a treat.
Matt Berry from The Office.
No, the IT crowd.
Oh, sorry, the IT crowd. That's the one I was meaning. They played the boss. He is really good. But see, the thing is, the movie, I thought initially the TV show was just basically a continuation of the movie. It's not. The characters
Oh.
are very similar, but that's 3 new characters because there is at one episode, they've got the ones from the movie. Taika Waititi's in it, and he's in the movie, but they've actually got the 3 characters from the movie in the TV show just for one bit, and it is absolutely
Here we
amazing.
go. This is
He
Matt
plays-
Berry. He plays
absolutely amazing in it. So yes,
he plays one of the vampires.
Looked
Yep.
in this drawer. Wow, a gun!
Dear Douglas, if you're reading this, it's because you found my father's old service revolver.
Hell's horses.
I did plan on using this gun to take my own life if it ever came to it. But as you know, in the end, I jumped out of a window. I pass it on to you in the hope that if things ever get too bad, you'll be able to take the easy way out. Hopefully it won't come to it. But if it does, you must promise me that you'll shoot yourself without a moment's hesitation.
I promise, Father.
Your affectionate father, Mr. Renham.
I wonder if it's loaded. No. Ah. Here we go.
And what you don't see is eventually when he does shoot himself in the leg with it.
but yeah, it is a fantastic thing because I had never seen
I'm
the
gonna
movie
have to
or
find
it,
that.
and Wendology recommended it, and I watched it, and I loved it.
Well, let me
It's
see if
just
I can
There was
so
find it.
there was a Ghost series on. It was like Ghost Hunters, Ghost Chasers with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost.
Oh.
And it was on last year, and it was really funny. And I think it was either I think it was on Amazon. I don't remember. I'll have to look up the name of the darn show, but it was good humor. Again, that office scene reminded me of that because Simon Pegg's like stuck in this office for the whole thing, and Nick Frost is the guy out in the field. He's supposed to be like an electrical, a cable installer or something of that nature.
Yeah, he's a charisma vampire.
Yeah,
My
here we go.
office, also known as the hunting ground.
Hi, Deb.
Energy vampires drain people's energy merely by talking to them.
Actual versus budget year to date. No thanks. You're going to be at that all day.
We either bore you with a long conversation.
Feeling better now. I was a little sick this weekend. Hey, Don. Don. I have to pee too.
But let's see if I can. There's the Matt Berry clip here.
And we are the only kind of vampire that can drain another vampire's energy. It's very cool.
The power grows stronger in him by the night.
Anyway,
But yeah, if you get a chance to watch
but
that,
you know the
it's
funny thing
really
is that's
fun.
done by Takiti, whatever
Taika
the
Waititi,
Thor
yep.
Ragnarok director. I mean, he did the movie. I know. I think.
He did.
I love and
he
hate
played one
Taika
of the vampires.
Waititi.
Yes.
It's my relationship with him. I love him when he does straight up comedies. I actually loved
Free Guy.
the World War II film Jojo Rabbit. I thought that was brilliant.
I've not seen that one yet.
Oh, it's really good. Scarlett Johansson's in it, and Taika that the dude who's known can pronounce his name, plays a version of he's like an imagined
The
Hitler
mustache
in
man.
this
Yes,
little kid's head, and it's hilarious to see the journey that how he changes in the little kid's head as the little kid understands better and what's going on around him. It's just such a good film.
Yeah.
Oh, he
Um,
was
look at
also
him in
in Free
Free Guy.
Guy.
He was good in Free Guy.
He was.
Oh yeah, as the boss, he was great.
Yeah. Yeah. Look what type of nutcase he is out with these roles, but he is actually really good in the stuff that he's in. It's unusual.
But then he destroys Thor.
Yeah.
Why? Why, Taika? Why?
See, I think it's the fact is, I think when he's actually producing something he's in, it's a different kettle of fish because he's out front and center. So he has to actually make sure he comes across and he's likable. Whereas if he's producing it in the background, he doesn't really care about the actors.
I will say on this comment from Rob, I've never watched Stranger Things. I don't really have a desire to, and especially after what I heard about this season.
Yeah,
well, I have no desire.
I watched the first season and it never got me enough to go back in and watch it. Yeah, after that,
I've seen 1 through 3. One I enjoyed quite a bit, and then it slid down. Although I've heard, not seen because I got rid of Netflix. I've heard good things about season 4. What does it mean? I don't know.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm just saying I heard it has some
get
demonic stuff in it, and I don't do demons and stuff like that. I will not watch that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. It was Truth Seekers was the name of the show that I was trying to remember with Nick Frost and Simon Pegg. It's like a ghost hunter show, but it's those two, so it's funny because I
do have their Cornetto trilogy, I think it's called.
Yes, it's called
Shaun
the
of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End.
I love World's End. No one talks about World's End, but I loved World's End. It reminded me of my youth. I'm like, I want to go on that pub crawl.
Yes, and it's just silly because I remember bumping into a few friends that I used to go to school with. And it was almost
you knew all those guys.
Oh, really? Have we not changed?
It's exactly the same. What was it? The Sisters of Mercy tape that's still in the cassette player.
But it's crazy watching stuff like that, and you're sitting there thinking, I can see that because there's like me, I know I've grown old, so I look different, but I act the same. I've got the box.
Got all 4 seasons. Somewhere. The only one I don't have is The Internet Is Coming. But I mean, the one, I don't know if I can bring it up. Let me see if I can play it. Hold on. Let's see.
Have you seen the Almighty Johnsons?
No.
Oh, that's good.
No.
That's the New Zealand one. It's a few years old, and it's about the Norse gods who came down to Earth, and they moved from Europe to New Zealand. And every year, every generation, they're reborn. So they live and die, and then they're reborn. So they don't know what god you're going to be until you turn 18.
Oh, wow.
And it's a comedy. It's humorous. It's fairly straightforward. The premise of it is really good. There is a couple of sex scenes that I thought they just did it just for the simple fact is they wanted to make it not for kids. And I think that's the only reason they did that, because they didn't want it to be seen as a kids show. But the whole idea and the premise of it, they bump into Maori gods, and one of the Maori gods, he's a young guy, and all the older Maori gods are going, because he's going the House of Jerome, and he's sort of he wants to be a gangster type thing, and he's just playing into that, and it's just really well done, and how they bump into and how the goddesses are trying to scupper them, because in the old days the female gods were seen as second-class citizens, so they don't want to go back to it, because modern day they're all equal. They don't want to go back to Asgard. So they're putting a kibosh and trying to find Odin, because once Odin comes, then they try and find Freya and get back to Asgard. And there's the female gods that are putting a kibosh on it, and then they all join up. And it is really, really well done. The guy played Loki. It is great. He's a lawyer playing Loki.
Oh, cool.
So
Loki the lawyer.
It's so well thought through, and they had 3 seasons and they finished it. They were asked to do more and they said no. So
was it a complete story arc? Were they able to end it properly?
Yes. And they left.
That's always nice.
They were asked to continue and they said no. They wanted to finish the story. So what they did was they left an Easter egg. So when it finishes, you see a stone sitting in the on the floor, and it's almost a case of did Loki leave that just so he can come back because he's given up all that power? And you don't know. It just sort of leaves it. They
cool.
could actually come back to it later on, but they did
Hey, at
finish
least
it.
Loki got a good show somewhere.
Yes. Oh, the guy played Loki, the lawyer. It's just so well done. It is absolutely amazing. All the brothers, all the different gods, they've got their different powers. One of them was the guy he played in The Hobbit. So when he's away filming The Hobbit, they just have him on a video camera reporting back to the family because he's meant to be. He's a womanizer. He's the braggy, the god of. So he basically can talk women into doing what he wants. So you can imagine, so there's bits where he's meant to be in Norway looking for through the family genealogy to try and find these things, and they're just video clips. But it's because he's actually filming The Hobbit, so they've just got those wee bits. It's just so well done. The Almighty Johnsons, if you get a chance at that, definitely I would look at that because it's a far better Loki. So it is.
So I do have the whole. I have the 4-issue series that came out in 2016 of Vote Loki. I was about ready to get rid of it, but then I noticed the value's been going up.
Which is amazing, quite honestly.
So the for the first issue, an 8.0 is selling for $28. I have at least mine has only been read once. It's mint. It's been in a protective case ever since. Yeah. $13 for a comic book.
Yeah. Well, I got my 4. I got a run of 4 for a £10.
Well, I'll show you the one that I don't know if Justin's going to make it, but
RoboCop versus Terminator.
Sweet.
So I just picked up because I was sitting and I was looking at the. I've seen some of the guy's other work, so I thought I'd pick that one up just to actually have a go because it was only a tenner for the run of 4. So
now that's nice. Like DC has reached a new line of World's Finest, the Batman Superman comics. Oh, good Lord.
I have this one. This one I got graded. It came back as a 9.8. And I only got it because of the cover.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But no, they had the World's Finest where it's the Batman slapping Superman meme. It was one of the variants. It was like 125, one of 25, I think it was. And I think I paid $15 for it. Let me see if I can bring that up.
I was just looking at Rob Martin says that's 2 whole gallons of gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, the new World's Finest line, those are expensive. They're like $5 each book, which is kind of I'm old, but that's kind of a lot for an individual single comic.
Yeah, this was the one of 25 that I ended up buying.
Yeah. Apart from those ones, the only other comics I've been buying are basically like the Rabbis and other basically indie comics. I've not really been buying any run. I think the last run I bought was the Doctor Who run. So it was the Matt Smith or with the Enterprise crew.
Oh, sweet.
I've got that somewhere. So
the Matt. Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, I've got that. I think it was 6 episodes, and it was. It
was okay.
It was okay. It was the only good thing it was so it was Matt Smith with Picard and Worf and stuff like that. But there's one panel, and it's Tom Baker with Kirk, because it's implying it happened before, and it shows you the past, and it's Kirk and Tom Baker. And I thought, just for that one panel, I bought the series.
Totally worth it.
Yeah, definitely. Because I would love to see that book. I would love to see that book.
They also did a crossover with it was Green Lantern and Star Trek.
Well, they also did Planet of the Apes with Star Trek.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, I'd love to see that.
What I might actually do is actually dig out my comics, because I've got one box over there and it's full, and it's mostly Spider-Man stuff, except the Doctor Who, and it's got some Judge Dredd as well. So I
Awesome.
get rid of everything else except one box, and I might dig them out.
Oh, that's so
I think
cool.
Planet of the Apes. Now that is superb.
What year did that series come out?
That's the Charlton Heston fighting Kirk.
Oh, wow. Get your filthy
Um,
paws off me, you Starfleet officer.
This one is copyrighted 2015.
2015, so not
15
forever ago. Those should still be around then.
Aye, 7 years. That's not too bad. But yeah, I'll need to actually dig out my Assimilation series and actually maybe just talk about them on stream. Now that is a
He's
picture and
wearing
a
the
half.
uniform.
Is that not how Kurt looked? I'm sure all the pictures that I've seen with William Shatner, basically that's what he looks like. Well, he thinks he looks like.
Yeah. But the thing is, I like the story. I mean, as goofy as it sounds, it actually works.
See, that's the thing. See, when they actually they do a crossover and somebody's actually thought about it. That's all you want. You want something that, even if you think these two don't work, if they join them and they sort of work, that's all you can ask for, because you've got two of your favorite franchises touching.
No, crossovers can go like they did several crossover books like Alien and Predator in Superman and Batman books.
Yes, there's also Judge Dredd and Predator versus Alien.
And sometimes they're good and sometimes they're not so much.
Yeah.
I love the concept. The concept is fascinating. The reality isn't always as good as the idea is.
Aye. They did a good one with Judge Dredd and Batman.
Oh, I don't.
The Ultimate Lawman.
You mentioned that. I may even
Vigilante.
have that in my big book of my big box of comics.
Yeah, because it's the Ultimate Lawman with the Ultimate Vigilante.
My first graphic novel.
Wow.
The Death of
And
Superman.
$4.95.
See, that's how much an individual book costs now. It's unfair, especially
But,
for
I
a
mean,
market
you
that's
know,
dying.
I love Superman, but I'm not a fan of this era. The art, the way it was
See, I was the
drawn.
same. There was a 2000 AD. They went through a stage where they would do the psychedelic art, and I hated it because it looked like somebody had actually been drawn while they were on mushrooms, basically. And it looked, and to me, I never. Anytime there was a story, I just ignore that one. I'll just skip that.
Now, bad
story,
art
even if
kills
it's
a good
bad.
story, and that's too bad.
Yeah, and it is sometimes they do that. The good thing is some of the complete sets, they've actually got the art done properly. So it's almost like they've redone the art, so it didn't have the
Oh.
psychedelic. So, Ice Cream Man Volume 1.
Oh, I watched Wakazizi's Tea House did a video on these, and they look like they're really cool. Twilight
They are.
Zone
The
comic
only
book.
thing is, they did one about a year ago that I really did not care for. It ended up being a whole promotion to support Planned Parenthood, which honestly I cannot.
No. Wow.
But I
That's
mean,
a-
That's the one I'm reading just now.
Okay.
Cursed
Rereading just now. None of this actually words in it. It's actually got pictures. Mind you, the pictures are so small. I have to actually wear my glasses.
Oh my
just to
goodness.
even see the pictures. But no,
The
I have been
Spawn-
reading.
Spawn has a new. McFarlane Spot himself doesn't do anything. He's just a character. But there's a new Spawn series, Scorched Earth or Scorched. That's reminding me of that. And I've been seeing the reviews on it. I haven't bought books in a while because nothing has caught my eye in the modern world. But this series looks like it's very good. A lot of the new Spawn stuff looks like they're very interesting. I like that
got into it.
McFarlane does what he does in his version of and it's been a very unchanged version of things, the way he puts these books out. He's committed to his product, and I like his independence, I guess.
I just never got into Spawn.
It's not for
See,
everyone.
I like the movie, but the comics, I don't know, it just never got. I think the movie was just, I suppose, fun the way it was done. Obviously, with the clown, just looked
With the clown, of course.
just really weird. Definitely a clown. It was a clown. It was not meant to be fun.
I don't think clowns are funny anyway. They're horrifying.
Well, I've never known one to actually be funny, but
So we are about 30 minutes out from Friday Night Tights. I'm probably going to end a little bit before that just because I still got a few things to get done around here.
Yeah.
So, but the link is in the chat for anybody else that wants to join. I was hoping Justin might be here. I haven't talked to him in a while. But I'm actually going to be going back to Iowa in about a month, hopefully, if the gas doesn't go up too much more.
Yeah.
yeah, that's
But
basically.
sadly, like I said, I think Dallas is going to be my only vacation this year.
Yeah.
Mostly
I think
because
what's going to happen with the cost of the fuel is I think it's going to drive more companies to actually let ask staff to work from home again.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because they look, even me, I'm traveling 70 miles round trip a day just to work. So it's just a case of it's expensive. Let's put it out.
No, I got you. I don't know how, like, so like I said, I did the Navy thing for 30 years. I'm like retired now. This is what I do. But the kids here in California, the youngsters, the E1, E2, E3 are very entry level folks in the Navy. Everything in San Diego is expensive anyway. And I don't know how the kids who are driving, 50 miles a day, which isn't a ton, but it's enough in traffic so that it's all burning off. I don't know how they are doing it. I remember when Mrs. of the Empire and I were first married, we would share a can of soup and a loaf of bread. That was dinner. And that's when I was a kid in the, early 90s in my first days in the Navy. I don't see things being a lot different now for those kids. It's like, how are your troops getting to work? How are they affording to do that? I don't know.
See, I remember that as well, because I remember my first marriage when we were a bit with a bit extra cash, we would buy mince so we could have some meat. Whereas my sister-in-law, when they were skint, they would buy mince because they had to actually. And it was, to me, it was showing the difference. When we had money, we would buy mince. When they had no money, they would buy mince, and it showed the difference in the two families.
Yes.
And it's a case of now I've got money I can spend on my bits and pieces, and I'm happy with that. But it's the idea that the government are coming in and going more,
Yeah, exactly.
more, and I'm sitting there thinking less. Now I've got a grandson. I'm actually spending all my money on him, so it's.
So to answer Lord Thorth, yes, I am back on Fridays.
Which we're all happy.
Parrish. I'm pretty excited.
Yep. So,
like I said, the only thing is I won't be streaming next Friday because I will be in Dallas. So
you'll be
I'm
doing
pretty
something.
excited.
We'll be jealous.
You exactly. Did you think of us UK people? I know Ian's going over. Not that I'm jealous.
Well,
of Ian.
all I can say is Ian is coming over.
Yep. I'm so
Now,
jealous.
Az
of
is
Ian
going to be there as well.
Who is?
Az.
I think I'm breaking up. Sorry.
I
didn't hear that.
Is going over.
Az is coming to Dallas.
Wait. Az is coming to Dallas?
Az. Yes.
See, I didn't know that. I hadn't heard that.
I thought he said he wasn't.
Because I thought he said he had friends or family down.
Because I DM'd him asking if he was coming to Dallas, and he said no.
Oh,
Is it not Vegas?
I thought he
going
was.
to?
I thought this was the first one he was going to make it to.
I thought
Maybe
it was
I'm
Vegas.
wrong.
I
It was
hope
going
so.
to be
I
the
would
first
love-
one he made too. See, I thought it was the next one, as in Vegas.
No,
That's
I
the one
thought
he was
this was the
doing.
one, but
More
Vegas was out.
sense.
Maybe. Who knows?
Maybe these big guys, we just don't know.
I will
We
just
can't
say
keep up
that
with
in Vegas, the crowds when got him on his cell phone.
Well, that was hilarious.
So
I would love to go. I must admit, I would love to go, but ain't happening at the moment. Too many
Understandable.
restrictions.
I mean,
still.
I can't go overseas.
I'm just
right
hoping
now.
they
I
don't
mean, it's
shut
just too
things down again
expensive.
before Vegas of this year. At the start, they like to go in waves of crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm
They're
not
going to
I'm not
actually
going
go
to
down
Comic
the-
Con this year because of the restrictions that they put in place.
See, the
I
Comic-Con
have
here,
tickets,
I was at a
but I'm
Comic-Con
not
last.
going.
Yeah, I was at a Comic-Con last week. No restrictions.
Now, see, San Diego, it's
We're the
it's
small
basically all the
Comic-Con.
bad parts is what San Diego is doing,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm simply not doing any of this anymore. I'm done.
Yeah. I've been
so
to
it's
two
just-
Comic Cons and both of them had no restrictions. They're not enormous. The most recent one was 2 halls, so there wasn't. I got round it in a couple of hours. However, that's where I got that. Did you see my figure that I got last week?
See, this is the Dallas schedule.
Oh, that's cool.
Really, not much
Oh,
on here.
Scarface.
That's
I picked that. I picked that up at the Comic Con last week, so I did. And
Oh,
I
Very
certainly have a
nice.
figure.
My
So
little
I
friend.
basically, I was very happy I went. So. Say
But I
hello to
mean-
my little friend.
there really is nothing here that's interesting. I mean, okay, there's a Prince.
Oh, there's
big
Speed Dating.
deal.
See, going to the cons, I really like the walking around part and just kind of seeing all the people
Talking to
and all the
people.
weird stuff. I don't do panels because I'm not waiting 8 hours in a line for something I can watch on YouTube later. I get it, it's in person, but my time is more valuable. So
Yeah.
I just love interacting with all. Like, yeah, I always go as Doctor Who because I'm weird and I like to do costumes.
Tom Baker.
Either I do either 4 or 12 depending on the year. Last time I went as 12. The year before that I went as 4. So
See, I don't watch the new stuff. It's just me. So my daughter actually did me a scarf for my 50th. And
Oh,
I've
that's
got
so
it
cool.
Right down here.
But really, I mean, just looking at this, there really is
Very
not
nice.
that many.
So she actually crocheted it for me. And
That
I
is a
used that
daughter
and I
who
built,
loves you.
an outfit round it. So I did. So,
man,
I like doing
the
that.
Fourth Doctor is a hot costume in San Diego, though.
it
I got to
is-
wear a
it's-
hat. I got to wear a wig.
even
I
in
got to wear a
Scotland,
scarf.
even in
I'm dying. I'm dying.
Even in Scotland, when it's not the hottest, it is a warm costume.
It is. That's
Because
why
I've done
I usually
the hottest costume
12.
I ever did was my Judge Dredd one. I made
Oh,
it out
Lord.
of EVA foam, and
Yep.
oh my goodness, I was
melting.
melt.
I went as Captain
easiest
America the
one
first
was
couple of years.
my Ace Rimmer. It was my Arnold Rimmer from Red Dwarf. That was all it was just to try and keep my H on my head because it kept sliding off. So, but yeah, I used to build my costumes. Can't do it anymore. So
Oh, got it.
it's unfortunate. So I've still got my Doctor Who one. That's the only one I keep.
Doctor Who is easy, even though it's hot.
Mhm.
Well, this one's
But yeah, I love going to the Comic Cons and just walking around chatting to people,
Well,
even
I
the
think I-
artists and stuff like that. It's great.
I think I may go and just kind of lurk around in downtown San Diego. They have a lot of events that are not, you don't have to get tickets for or anything. So you can still go to all the outside stuff, but I'm not
Yeah.
going to go in the hall because I'm not doing any of the show me your papers, don this mask that isn't part of your costume business. Cause like I said, I'm done with that.
Yeah.
So, and I wrote to Comic-Con. I'm like, hey, you announced this after tickets came out, and they're like, well, that's the way it is. And it's like, cool. Thanks for screwing over everybody who doesn't agree with your policy and not giving refunds. So,
Rob, I did highlight
But-
that. Anyway,
it is what it is.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's basically and it's even the fact is, I went to the doctors today, and even going into a doctor's, and you're sitting there, a doctor's medical practice who is meant to know they've got chairs still meters apart, and you're only allowed in if there's no more than 2 or 3 people in. You have to actually wait outside, and you're sitting there thinking, They're the medical experts, and look at the stupid stuff they're doing still today.
Still. Yeah, Mulder had it right. Trust no one.
Yep.
Speaking of which, I'm rewatching season 10 right now, and I love it.
Season 10 of what?
I've got them on my list.
X-Files.
I need to rewatch them.
I never got into the X-Files.
I like the early stuff. The
You can't
later
tell people that.
I do. With a smile.
But it's the same as I'm the same, but it's not the X-Files. It's Breaking Bad. Despise that. That's a time of my life I'll never get back. Because people kept saying, watch the next season, it gets better. It gets better. By the time it came to the end of it, I was glad they all got killed. And I thought, at least that's it.
I actually like that series. That's
what I'm saying.
a long way to go if you don't like it, though.
Yeah, I could understand why people liked it, but I didn't care enough about the characters, so I didn't care about the watching the character go from being a school teacher to Heisenberg. Even though when I wear my pork pie hat, people say, "Oh, you just look like him." But it's the fact is I'm aware of it. But I watched it because people kept saying, and I thought, and it's the problem is, I listened to people who I trusted. The problem is they were recommending knowing me, and they thought, I think they were thinking, well, I know you won't like it, but you might. No, don't tell me I might like something when you know what I like, because I like light stuff. I'm no one for. I don't like nihilism and stuff like that. And I think to me it was a downward spiral. You were watching him, and I'm okay with watching. I can understand why people enjoy it because it is a good story arc if it's done well. But it's not a type of story arcs I like. I like an upwardly spiral one. So sometimes you'll see somebody going down the way just so they can bounce back, and I'm okay with that. But if it's a downward spiral to the point where they just keep going,
it was just a shot down to the crater.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So there's no redemption in it, and I like the redemption parts of stories, and that's why it basically didn't work for me because there was no redemption. So.
Right. Did you ever see the series of The Man in the High Castle?
Yes. I watched the
yeah.
first season. I've not watched anything else.
I haven't watched the third.
The first 2 seasons were so good. And the 3rd season was okay. The 4th season was not. And what I hated about it, I thought was it 4 or 3? Whichever the final season was. So just forgive my aged brain as to if I'm throwing the wrong number on it. The story for John Smith, he seemed to be on a specific trajectory. In that final season, they did one of these, and he was doing stuff that John Smith would have never done. And it's like, what are you doing to the character? He wasn't a good guy, but beneath the surface, there was that hope of him coming back and fighting on the right side of things. And we went into that final season thinking, okay, this is where it's going to happen. And they made a 180 and had him just going full bad guy again. And it was like, why? Why did you do this? Because the writing got woke and they didn't like to have a male character who was going to do good things. Yeah. That's my opinion on it. Because that's when that all was starting.
See, that's the problem. Even if that's not the reason, because they've done it for so many other things, you just assume.
Exactly.
I know when they say you assume you make an ass of you and me, but when people are doing stuff like that, you can't help but assume because it's a track record. You're going to hear the same music all the time. So when you hear it's starting the same, you just assume it's going to be the same.
Yeah, exactly. I know the next bars. I've seen this before.
Yeah.
And nope, it's gone. That train of thought is gone. I'm sorry. It was going to be really clever too.
Say it's totally different than the book. Because
I read the book. It's absolutely different than the book. That's like The Thing. Who Goes There? The original novella was so different than the 1951 version of the movie, which was so different than the 1982 version of the movie, which was actually more like the book than the 1951 version was. But the Man in the High Castle novel or short story, really, it's not very long, was radically different. You still had the Axis had won World War II,
right?
But really everything around that was wildly different. I actually like what they did in the first 2 seasons of the series better than I liked the book. Philip K. Dick is like that, though. He lays a really good foundation for others to build on.
But
You know, Blade
Yeah, I
Runner,
just remember
Minority
not
Report,
being-
Total Recall, all those things are Philip K. Dick. And not everybody knows
Yeah,
that
I
all
just
these things are
remember
Philip
with
K.
the
Dick.
book not being impressed with the ending.
No, because it was just kind of,
It's but see, Philip K. Dick does that across the board. To me, he's like Moffat. He can start a story, but he just doesn't know where to finish it.
that is a really good.
Basically, he starts it and he starts it and he goes and goes, and you're sitting there thinking, right, where's the end? And he's coming up, and it's finished. Oh, where did the story go?
Yeah, the non-ending. I hate non-endings.
I disliked my favorite book series is The Wheel of Time, and I hate the last 3 books.
What?
Because I don't like Brandon.
13 books that took way too long, and then he died. And then, who took over? It was his kid
Brandon
and somebody else,
Sanderson.
if I'm not mistaken.
Brandon Sanderson, and I don't like his books. Not in the. I've read a lot of his series, and for his books, they're good. But when he's trying to write somebody else's books, it just seemed like. See, I was reading it, and I was getting to the end, and I heard that Robert Jordan gave all the notes and how it was going to end and stuff like that. And then I'm reading it, and I'm thinking, he's just introduced a new race. Where did they come from? And you're meant to believe that Robert Jordan gave them the notes so this race would come in. Yet they've never been mentioned. Yet in his book,
anywhere
it was
else,
meant to be one final book where he split into 3. He's suddenly introducing new races, and you're, huh? So it basically ruined it. And the way it finished, it was more of an anticlimax. I kept all my books after that disastrous TV show. All my books went to the charity shop except the first 5. Those are the books. I just kept the first 5, and they're dog-eared because I love the first 5. After that, it's almost a case of the meander, and it's I'll just keep.
So you must have been a big fan of the Amazon series then, because that was really well received.
Loved it. Loved it. I was doing a review of it, and it got to the point where
I started stop because I'm like,
I was doing a review of it, and the first minute I had to pause it because I was ranting and shouting and bawling at the screen.
You made the Wheel of Time boring.
I'll be right back.
How could you do this?
It's the fact is, they say, right, we're roughly going to do 1 book per series. I thought, great, because the first 3 books are absolutely amazing.
Yes.
And then what they did was they took the characters and then they made up characters and put them in, and you're sitting there thinking, you're cutting a lot of story out and then putting stuff in that you've just made up. Yet there's 13 books you can cut to trim down to get a season. You had to cut them out. But
they
what did
altered
you do?
the character and changed. I mean,
Lan
Perrin wasn't Perrin.
Oh God, no! I hated Perrin. But the fact
and
is,
Matt was annoying as all hell.
But what they should have done is said it is another age. Then they could have actually says that after the age with Lan and Moraine and Rand and Perrin and all that, the one power merged. So they could have actually had it so there was only the one, and then something else has happened.
It's something
and
new.
They could have gone down that way.
Based on that.
So it was based on that. So it was another age. So something has changed. And Rand and Lan and all that could have been from the Age of Legend.
You should be writing for Amazon, because that's a much better plan than what they did. It's their abomination of the Rings of Power that's going to be coming out. It's the same kind of thing. They're just destroying. They're destroying the lore. They're destroying the lore.
It's deliberately they just want to use the names, and the rest of the story is just made up.
I don't recognize these characters who have the names of characters that I love. They don't even look like my characters. They just have a name.
I've got the cards. I've got the cards like Magic the Gathering. So similar idea. The Wheel of Time. I've got.
I didn't know that.
A couple of hundred of those cards. Those got boxed and put away as well. All of it got put away. I was disgusted by it. And it actually ruined, because every time I listen to the audiobooks, all I see is the pictures of these people.
Yep.
But I just actually, if I had hair, I would be pulling it out.
Man, I don't know what's going on my end, but the audio is really choppy over here. I don't know if it's my connection or what.
I'm
You're
catching you.
You seem good on my end, Father.
Yeah, it's just the video over here, and I'm gonna have to start wrapping up soon, just because we're coming up on the time.
The time is coming.
Yes.
Yes.
Time to watch it again.
So, no, I just had a phone call. So as those that follow me know, I had a pulmonary embolism in November, blood clots in the lungs. So I went to see the hematologist yesterday, and it was only 5 minutes to find out I need to come back in 2 weeks. So just scheduled the appointment.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll be figuring out what happened to me. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I hope you actually get a lot
but
better.
anything to plug?
Well, I'm on tomorrow. Let's Talk Geeky, 8 o'clock UK time tomorrow. It's roughly about the same time as you start this one, so whatever time that is in the East Coast.
Before 18 in the East Coast right now.
So we're at 9:18, so 5 hours difference, I think. But I
didn't hear any of that.
Yeah, Let's Talk Geeky is tomorrow at 8 o'clock UK time. That's one of my things. What about you,
I'm
Roman? Anything?
Roman of the Empire. I do shows on really anything new that's out in media is probably on my site, and I have a live stream I do with the creative blue collar guy every Thursday at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what time.
5 Pacific Standard.
Oh, okay, great.
Right. Well, the good
like
thing is we're never going to
have
clash.
play with this.
I was just saying, me and Roman's never going to clash. I talk about old stuff. I don't talk new stuff.
You're new. We're both old, so it works out. We have a nice.
I'm not old. I'm classic.
I'm antique. So.
So with that, I think I'm going to wrap up just because, like I said, on my connection, it's really been choppy. I can only hear about half of I don't know why. I mean, I got a better connection than my last parish.
Yeah.
But
it could be StreamYards, because I've had a couple of times when I've been on StreamYards is a wee bit choppy.
I think we lost him.
Did you hear it?
See, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. I just heard after you said Streamlabs, you went mute for me.
Yeah, well, StreamYards occasionally with me goes a wee bit choppy where it seems to cut for me. I get that occasionally.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, I'm going to wrap up. Thanks to everybody. Thank you guys for joining me. And for those watching, please
thank you for having us, Father.
Subscribe if you're not. And we'll do it again in 2 weeks. And no, Bosco is not setting up an interference field. I don't know where she's hiding right now.
And it was nice to meet you, PJ.
You too, Roman.